Hello everybody and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, I'm a D&D sex icon and I'm back today with yet another episode of Call of Cthulhu Doors to Darkness. We have a whole cast and crew back with us to delve once again into the depths of insanity. So let's go around, let's meet the cast and crew, let's figure out who we are and of course who we're going to be playing today. Let's start beneath me with Redundant UK. Tom, how's it going, my friend?
Yeah, it's not too bad at all, not too bad at all. The weather is cooling down, so I'm no longer melting, and I'm very excited to be, watching the football, playing Call of Cthulhu with you guys. So, I'll be playing Travis, who is a private detective who kind of stumbled in this bizarre world of cults and gross things and tentacles and beating hearts, and he's in way over his head. So he's got one goal on his mind, and that's revenge. So that's what he's going for.
Awesome. Well, we also have Greg, Mr. Grimjack21502, back with us today. Greg, how's it going, my friend? He's muted.
Sorry, yes, of course I'm fine. Great to be back. Working on the other stuff here. Can't wait to see you guys. Love you. See you in a bit.
See you later, Greg. We also have Lindy with us today. Lindy, how's it going?
Oh, I'm doing pretty spiffy. I'm ready to crawl back into the wrinkly old skin of military grandma knitting occultist extraordinaire. Who's just likes to knit scarves, make people feel better, and, maybe deal with an eldritch horror, too.
Or two, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we also have Don back with us tonight. Don, how's it going, my friend?
It's awesome. Last week ended on a cliffhanger, and it's been on my brain ever since. Ready to play Luis Delgado. He's still clinging to his sanity, and his shotgun, and his Coca-Cola.
Yes, absolutely. But last but not least, we have Mr. Jonathan Pruitt back with us. How's it going, Pruitt?
I'm doing great there, Will. Excited to get back into some gaming. Had a fun weekend, a new WebDM shoot, so that's always great, seeing the guys. It's a little tiring, but I am ready to start this marathon and ready to start it with Seth Penhollow, see how much of his flagging insanity he can retain before the end, to see if he can actually make it to the end. My bet is no, considering he just pulled the Necronomicon from Sloan, and he's thinking about going Khaleesi on that shit. So we'll see.
Amazing. Well, before we remind ourselves what happened last week, I'll remind you guys in chat there that, of course, thank you, Pakistan. We're sponsored today by Fantasy Grounds. Go to fantasygrounds.com and check out all of their amazing licenses for tabletop games. You can play hundreds of tabletop games. Today we're playing Call of Cthulhu, Warhammer 2nd Edition, and Star Wars, or using fantasygrounds.com. So check out their licenses over there. And of course, check out whalengames.co.uk for all of their miniature lines. They sell D&D books, RPG books, board games, Warhammer minis that are up to 20% off the retail value. So definitely go ahead and check those out. And of course, you guys can interact with today's show. If you haven't followed yet, hit the follow button and join us. When we hit 20 followers and 20 retweets on this tweet, you guys get to decide something which happens next in our game, which is always fun, either Gumball or Ryan Hawkes related viewer decisions. And of course, last but not least, you can donate to affect the game as well by giving players now 1s, now 20s, wild magic surges, and actual cannibal Shire the buff. But I'll remind you guys what happened last week on the show on episode 9 of Doors to Darkness. PCs were jumping through a portal created by Prospero in order to find Sloan, bring back the Necronomicon, and stop Martin Poole and the Symphony. They jumped through, and through doing so, they found themselves in these bizarre cars of sinew and flesh, a fetid vision of the future, with huge blimps with Poole's face flying over the top of purple skies. The investigators inhabited the bodies of slaves that are the creations of Yog-Sothoth, and in a bizarre race, they raced towards a floating skull that spoke to them. That was Martin Poole. and they ended up turning Travis into a car of flesh. And it was a pretty grisly scene of what they made him into there, of these bizarre cars that were made from lungs and flesh and sinew. It was bad stuff. They then fell through, found themselves back with Jim and Jack testing a young Sloan, heavily sedating him, seeing what was going on inside his brain. And inside young Sloan, there was a room of darkness in which his grandfather, Yog-Sothoth, spoke to him, told him that he had a book for him that was very important and that he needed him to look after. Once again, we joined Jim and Jack, who revealed themselves to be members of the symphony, working with a young Martin Poole. Mrs. Summers, Matthew's mother, was also there, though once again she met a fairly grisly fate at the hands of Martin Poole, who made an example of her when Jim and Jack let him down. Finally, we saw the birth of Sloan, and it became clear to the party and to Sloan himself that as he had entered into this odd trance-like state, overcome by the being that was Yog-Sothoth, that Sloan would have to die in order for them to be able to find the Necronomicon and keep it safe from the world. And it became clear to Sloan that his heart was the Necronomicon and that it would need to be removed from his body in order for this to happen. And so Seth Penhollow set to the task of carving out his heart in order to gain the knowledge within the Necronomicon in order to stop the end of the world, which is nigh. It is essentially day 7 of 10 until the end of the world as we know it. And so they're on a bit of a clock right now in order to sort this out. But we find our party in a room in the middle of quite literally nowhere. Sloan's room. Sloan is on the ground, dead, and his heart is being pulled out by Seth. And the rest of the party have watched this exchange. So Seth, you dive in with a knife, and Sloan's heart is in your hands. It's still beating.
And Seth will look around at his party members and just, how is this happening?
I thought it was supposed to be a book.
Well, stranger things have happened.
Really? Because this is pretty feckin' weird.
The end is nigh. It is nigh. It comes for us all. It came for Sloan. He tried to hide this, and look what end came to him.
Well,
All right, Seth. Calm down there. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
So, how do we use this? I mean, isn't that the whole point? We came here to use this to...
this
Light
is
up.
very true. May I take a look at that, Seth?
Yeah, and he kind of hand shaking as he's holding the still beating heart, and just kind of, just at least move it closer to Mildred.
She'll just put her hands over his hands, kind of. Can I make some kind of occult check to see what the hell's going on here?
Sure.
With this heart?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And the wild magic surges from Pakazal for Seth are excellent. All food within 50 yards freezes solid. So you watch as you bring out this heart, and any food that was on the table just freezes and crumples itself. Any cheese that was in your pockets, Mr. Delgado, has turned completely frozen solid. And secondly, Seth has a sword that he thinks can command an army of the undead.
What about the knife that I just used to cut him open?
Yeah. I'm going to translate this into the knife. With Seth's insanity being at the point that it is, he believes that this knife that he has could be used to command undead. Your occult roll, straight on, 75 out of 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Hearts are, often used, organs being sacrificed in rituals, that kind of thing, but
Yeah.
you've never heard of a heart being
A book.
able to still beat after it's been removed.
Okay.
Or you haven't heard of that, but something that you would maybe have heard of the Necronomicon taking various different forms. So when it's appeared throughout history and throughout time, it doesn't necessarily take the form of a book every time. So maybe this is the Necronomicon just hiding.
I'll relay that to everybody. But aside from that, I don't know what's going on here.
So, what do we need to do? We need to sacrifice it? How should we do that? As he's like holding the heart with one hand and he kind of brings the knife up with the other. He's just looking at it.
Maybe not with that knife. Looks a little ritualistic.
How is it still beaten?
That is a medical mystery, sir. I do not know. Probably dark magics.
So what happens if we just stamp on it? I mean, does that destroy the Necronomicon?
Well, that seems like it could be a dangerous way to go. We don't know what we're dealing with. If we try to hurt it, it could backfire on us. It could attack us.
Right. Okay, I can believe that because I thought it was a book. And now we're looking at a heart and all the other stuff I've seen today. A heart jumping at us and attacking us is not the freakiest thing that I've seen so far. So I think that's a good idea. Let's not be rash. What about Prospero? Do you know what to do with it?
Ooh.
I don't think we should work with Prospero any further.
Right,
He served
okay.
his purpose.
So now what do we do?
Well,
I mean, none of us know what the hell's next.
Mildred, you understand how magic works. Given time, do you think you could change its form or learn more about it?
potentially some of these books in here might help, but we are on a bit of a time crunch. Let me see if there's any book in here, maybe a journal, something he would have written something down in.
Are you gonna have a look in the table?
Transmutation book. Oh yes.
I'll
Oh,
search the table for. I'll help.
Also-
basically.
And as they've been kind of discussing and like now they're starting to turn their back maybe on Seth and start looking around, he's just been like staring at this beating heart, and maybe with like each beat, his hand just kind of brings it closer.
I just had a terrible
Closer.
thought. Maybe one of us has to put the heart inside ourselves.
And he like goes in and he Seth goes in and like takes a bite. As just his fragile mental state, he's just like, sacrifice. I want to gain the knowledge. So, and he just like goes in and takes a bite.
As
So
he
as
does
you-
that,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Travis
One of
is
those
going
things
to
that
duck
you lick it,
behind
you
the
claim
desk.
That's another wild magic search for Seth from Adrian. Also, the Father Carmine's wild magic was that he can't speak unless he first turns in a circle. So you're going to see Father Carmine doing a lot of mad 360 spins. It's going to be pretty dumb. All right, I'll look up Seth's real quick here. 6739. So, Seth, you suffer severe burns the next time you remove your clothes. In fact, this one works in really well here. But as you bite the heart, your clothes set themselves on fire. You take the first bite, and
I don't think you should eat that.
Seth's clothes are on fire, and he is burning alive.
He starts to stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna like get one of my extra
paper
scarves
everywhere.
and start like beating them out.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a jacket and start, hitting, suffocating.
Yeah, like take the cardigan.
Because
Smother.
Roll me a con here, Seth.
I'm gonna nat 20 that.
Good idea. You managed to, and another 3 nat 20s from Baggers out. But Seth, who's gonna lead him? Seth, you managed to put yourself out as you find yourself being burnt alive by fighting the heart of Sloane that you believe to be the Necronomicon. Your clothes are like put out and you cast most of them off. So your clothes are like burned or barely on you at this point.
Here you go, dear.
Soot and ash
Thankfully,
covers you.
I always keep an extra pair of stretch knit underwear in case of occasions like this.
Should take my shirt off then, I guess. No. Okay.
You'll watch real quick. You'll watch as Seb is doing this. That the still open portal behind you. You watch as Father Carmine steps out of it.
Oh, hello there, Father Carmine. You missed quite the excitement.
Oh. Father. Where have you
Father
been?
Carmine, and this will be the first and last time I ever mention this, and it is assumed from this point forward that he slowly spins in a circle and then says, "What is going on here?"
Well, we found Sloane, who was being possessed by Matthew. I was able to calm him down, and he asked for us to take the Necronomicon from him before Matthew could get it again. The world is on fire. We're on day 7 out of 10 of plagues, and unfortunately, well, maybe fortunately, Sloane's at peace now, and his heart is the Necronomicon, and Mr. Penhollow here just tried to take a bite out of it, and it did not go well for him as his clothes spontaneously combusted, and we had to beat out the fire.
Lass, you have an elegant way of explaining crazy shit.
Oh, thank you. I do
Miss
try to
Crabapple,
keep calm
Miss
under pressure,
Crabapple.
yes.
I'd like you to go back and explain the part where Matthew was possessed, or Sloane was possessed by Matthew, as there is no Sloane.
Well,
Well-
not anymore. There's not. But we saw it. We saw you. We saw you with the other 2 agents, and you took him. He kind of like shakes his head,
boy.
like, boy, yeah, you took him from his mother and you trained him. And then the 2
boy
agents
named
took the boy from you. Yes, yes.
A boy named Matthew, not a boy named Sloane. She said that Sloane was possessed by Matthew. That is
Well,
impossible.
Well, Matthew was a bit crazy and was let us, I suppose, based on what we've seen in flashbacks, that the grandfather he believed everything he said and was content to let everything burn and wanted to keep the Necronomicon hidden.
It's possible, Father Carmine, that Matthew was possessed by Grandfather Whispers. We had a shared vision of this old man in a room much like this, and at this point, Lewis will pull open the door that leads out into that, like, that's like a black void, right? Like we're floating in like a room that's surrounded by blackness.
Correct.
Just a void. In a room just like this room, he shuts the door. An old man that claimed to be writing the Necronomicon. We saw this as we stepped through the portal, and I believe it's possible that Matthew was possessed by that man or that man's will.
And you killed him.
Well, Mr. Penhollow killed him. It all happened
turns
very
to Seth.
quickly.
Well, actually, I think it was Mildred that killed him.
Like Travis kind of like,
Seth was the one who cut him open and pulled out his heart.
It's what he wanted. He said it was within him, and we should protect it. And the end is coming. You've seen the end, Father. We're in the last days. You of all people should know.
You will
As
hear
he's still holding
the
a
whisper-
heart in one hand and blood down his face.
You will hear the whisper of a chuckle on the wind.
I got an idea. Maybe Seth isn't the greatest person to hold that. I mean, let's be honest. He did just take a bite out of it.
Yes, I don't
Just
think that Seth is
putting it
all
out
right.
I see. Don't be scared. You'll see too before the end finds you.
Seth, I'm sure, but I personally would prefer Mildred to hold on to it. She seems more knowledgeable of all this stuff than everyone else, and not as peckish as you are, Seth. So if you wouldn't mind handing it to Mildred, that'll be grand.
Kind of like looks at the heart. Looks at Mildred. Slowly starts to hand it over to her.
I'll kind of hold out a scarf so that I'm not directly touching it, and just wrap it up.
Okay,
Hey, well
Father
done.
Carmine grab it.
He can definitely try. Is anyone going to stop him?
I'm not very agile.
I'm nowhere near to stop him.
Probably
It sounds like no
not.
one's
Probably
gonna
not really able to.
stop you if you
I'd
move
probably be
towards
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay."
Seth is pretty burned and a coward anyway, so
Or
I'll just
you
start getting the cozy for it.
carry it further. Apparently that's the Necronomicon, so be careful with that.
After he grabs it, he lowers himself down and kneels in front of the fallen form of Matthew. I'd like to do a sign of the cross here. How long has it been for the, like, from mechanically speaking, Will, how long has it been time-wise for the father?
Since when?
Since he showed up, like a moment, a second. Has he been in limbo
yeah,
somewhere? Did he experience the same things as the others? Did he?
So, like, technically,
Was
you've been in there for 3 days, same as the others. Yeah.
Okay, so his magic points are back then, is what I'm beating around the
Correct,
bush for. Okay, he wants the sign of the cross and see what happens. If obviously he kind of holds the heart off to the side, but he's looking primarily at Matthew's body.
Okay. Remember what the sign of the cross does? It pings off anything that's
Eldritch, yeah.
occult, eldritch, yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing left on Matthew's body, but the heart is the ping is almost like a little sonorous bell when you hear it pinging off from people, but it is like a huge gong. This heart, it's in your hand.
So to recap the course of events since last we were together, you entered the portal, quickly decided that the boy in front of you needed to die, murdered him and cut out his heart. Does that sum it up?
I think it's way more complicated than that.
Ah, you said it didn't take long when you arrived here to come to the conclusion. That is what Mr. Delgado said.
Well, I think he kind of skipped a part there. I mean, as we went through the
You've been
portal,
here.
we had all like these different visions of
No.
Matthew's.
Travis,
sorry.
Travis,
Yeah.
when you got here,
Oh right. Well,
for
okay.
this boy,
Okay. So when we got here, Matthew. Sorry, I'll make sure I get that right. He was a cat. We were looking around, and then he transformed into a person. And he was talking about how Earth had to die and everything had to go because one planet was not worth the entire universe. And then Mildred went over, did some voodoo, whatever it was, and then this
I
person
calmed
called.
his emotions down.
There you go.
Basically, temporarily repressed any insanities he might have been having, like
Right.
Mr. Bernardo seems to be having.
Right, and then Sloan, whatever this person, Sloan came up and said that he needed to die so, Earth wouldn't be destroyed. So that's when the action of Mildred stabbing him, and then Seth decided to cut out his heart because apparently that's an Necronomicon.
Well, he said that it was within him.
Aye, yeah.
Travis,
Sloan said that.
It is true that you are an investigator of some renown because you've added in details that were previously left blank. You said that Matthew was concerned about saving the universe where one planet was the cost. And then you said that Sloan reasserted himself to save this planet.
Aye.
Correct?
Aye, that's something Sloan was pretty insistent that the grandfather Whispers was the one that was taking over Matthew. Seems pretty insistent on that. This is all completely alien to me.
I understand, Travis. That's why I'm not holding you accountable for anything that's occurred here.
Oh, that's good.
Sorry.
Friends, I think we've all acted very, very rashly. We are not thinking through our situation. We stand on a precipice, a very dangerous precipice, and we're murdering and cutting out hearts and biting hearts, and I think we should all take a moment. Not think with our hearts, but with our minds, and ask ourselves, what do we do next?
I have a fairly certain idea what I'd like to do next.
For me, it's put a bullet in like Martin Poole's face. That's my entire goal. That's what I want to do. I like to keep things simple and basic. And you guys told me getting this Necronomicon would help achieve that. Now we got it.
It will. We just need to figure out how to open it, how to use it.
You tried to take a bite out of it and it set you on fire. I don't think we're going to take a knife to it to rip it open to see what's inside.
Well, now we know that's not the course of action.
Oh, what? So we're supposed to kiss it? We're supposed to massage it? What? We're supposed to shove it into one of us?
I think we need more
Oh, Mildred, don't go there. Don't go there. Actually, I would like to hear what Father Carmine would like to say about this whole situation, because he seems to know a bit, so if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, you've been more illuminating than one of the ancient texts, my friend. But what I do know is, you all came in here, killed my last and firstborn, carved out his heart, and were eating it when I arrived. Correct me at any point if I am telling something false.
No, I
we were doing his wishes.
Mr. Penhollow, you will not be alive soon.
None of us will. The end is coming for us all, Miss Father Carmine. It's in your book.
Others.
I've read it.
So, what shall we do now?
Find a way out of here?
I'm
Yes,
not
Travis,
sure
we
that we
will.
should leave yet.
Okay.
There's a lot of knowledge here.
So
As
what
soon
we're gonna
as we step through that portal, we're at the mercy of Prospero, of the Symphony. First, we must have a plan. We must understand what we're dealing with.
Aye, but no one does. So how are we gonna suddenly realize what to do?
Lewis points towards the library of books that are around. And before Father Carmine was here, before you stepped through that portal, we were just about to look for anything that might tell us more about the book, about what's happening.
Right, aren't we on a time limit? Mind you, I don't know, maybe time doesn't work in here the same way. I have no idea. I mean, I can have a look for things if you want. Just tell me what to look for and I'll look.
Yes.
And Seth kind of like absentmindedly gets up and he kind of puts his little knife in a. Does your little knit underwear have a pocket or anything? You're muted.
No dick hole on those.
It has a fanny pack.
Perfect. So he'll put his knife in with his fanny packet and just kind of like absent-mindedly start looking around the room at books and looking for anything on the Necronomicon.
All right. What's everyone else doing?
I did have a look, but I rolled an 87 for spot hidden, so I didn't see shit.
Fair enough. You're always spotted in here, Seth.
I'm gonna use an at 20.
It's a good idea. What's everyone else doing while Seth is snooping around?
Lewis will step up next to Father Carmine and kind of lean in towards him, and he'll say, Father, I know that you and I don't always see eye to eye, but I think we must be very observant of our friends right now. If Matthew could be manipulated by this grandfather whispers, as strong as a man, as a psychic, or whatever he was, it could affect any of us. And he looks at Seth pointedly as he's searching.
Mr. Delgado, I want you to be very clear with me in the following moments. What precisely did either Matthew or this Sloane tell you to do with the Necronomicon?
He did not say what to do with it. He only said that he had but a few moments before this other entity took over again, and that we must cut it out of him before he changed. Now, I did not act against him, and I did not act to save him, but I will say that he was very urgent with his words.
And what did Matthew say?
Matthew said that we could not have the Necronomicon, that this world must die. Everything that Travis said, that was true.
Then you shall not have it, if it is indeed this heart.
I do not want that book. I do not want to be destroyed by it. I merely want to keep it out of dangerous hands. And he again looks pointedly at Seth.
Well, I'm going to try something here, because
Let's do it.
it's either that or he's going to attack the rest of the company, and I don't want to do that as Greg. But I'm in a corner now with Father Carmine. So Father Carmine is going to cup the heart in his hands. He is going to open the stigmata marks on both of his hands and try to absorb the heart into his body.
Cool. So, roll me a power check here.
I'll nat 20 it.
It's a good idea. You, knock that off there. You push your fingers down into the ventricles of the heart, and it does not absorb itself into your bloodstream, but you do feel a connection there. Suffice it to say that Father Carmine believes that if you were to cut out your heart and put in this heart, that you would survive the process.
He immediately pulls forth a blade and plunges it into his chest and begins to do it.
Oh, what
Roll me a
a
power.
shite!
You all watch as Father Carmine plunges a dagger into his heart.
If he does that, Travis is going to fight him to stop him doing that. He's hurting himself, so he's going to try and stop him from doing it.
Let him
Don't
be.
make me mind blast you.
In sets like Insanity, once he sees this start, he will actually probably try to stop Travis from stopping Father Carmine.
Yeah, Mildred will kind of put an arm on Travis as well. Like, let him be.
A sacrifice,
This is what
Travis.
he needs to
A
do.
sacrifice.
Thing
Sacrifice,
is,
Travis.
if no one is
Needs to
actually going to
sacrifice.
physically stop Travis doing it, you're going to have to physically do it, because he's going to try and yank, because he
I'm
thinks
gonna
Father
try to-
Carmine.
I'm gonna wrap a ball of yarn around your ankles real quick.
So Travis you can roll a strength hit. Anyone who wants to physically stop him can also roll a strength to try and get in his way.
Ooh, I got a 34 and a hard success.
That might
Lewis
even
just
be
tries
better.
to keep his white suit clean.
I got a 20 and a
I
hard
just put
success.
my hands on him, and I'm like, oh, don't do it.
So Travis, Steph has a surprising amount of strength and power in those muscles of his. Perhaps it's his fervor and ferocity of that is holding you back, but you are held by Steph. He's kind of like almost goes in for like a little rugby tackle on you because he's smaller than you and kind of holds you backwards while Father Carmine's plunged this dagger
let me
deep
go!
into
He's
his heart.
hurting himself! Let me go!
So second power
Travis.
check I'd like from you, Father Carmine.
What would you like from me?
Second power check.
Yeah, I want nat 20 it again.
Also, Lewis, you can roll a wild magic surge as this happens from Mr. Fumblemore. I'll look this up, though. You watch Father Carmine's blade sink deep into his heart, and he's starting to pull the dragon heart here. So this is 3802 for Lewis. When you next enter your home, a small hill rises beneath it. There you go.
Isn't his home also like filled with water?
He got flooded
filled
from
with
another
water.
wild magic surge.
And the wild magic surge flooded your home, and now it's a hill.
Your poor house.
Amazing.
He's got moles.
Poor New Orleans.
So yes,
you guys
where
will-
does he live? Somewhere like Louisiana? There's a house
New
underwater, and then all of a
New
sudden it slowly New Orleans it slowly
Rises
rises
up.
out of the water.
That's awesome. So you'll watch as Father Cummings sinks the blade into his heart, makes a swift but furious incision down, and pulls out his still beating heart. In his other hand, with Matthew's heart, you'll watch as he kind of like peels back that flap of skin, and you see the cavity where his heart should be, and he stuffs in Matthew's heart into his body. And as this happens, Father Carmine's heart falls to the floor from his fingers, no longer able to hold it up any longer. So, as this happens, I'd like a Constitution roll from Father Carmine.
Yeah, I'm going to nat 20 it again.
Good idea. And I would like a sanity check from everyone.
Nat 20.
Nat
Nat
20.
20.
I think I will nat 20 that one as well. I feel like this whole scenario.
All nat 20s must go.
Greg, you using your last nat 20 on that one?
No, I'm rolling it, and I rolled a 6.
Oh, nice.
Oh!
This has a few effects upon Father Carmine. So, Father Carmine, you only lose 2 points of sanity as this happens, which is a relatively low cost for what you've just done. However, as the heart goes into you, Father Carmine, you will sense a loss of connection. And where formerly you have a almost constant sense of presence from something else that gives you power, that allows you to use magic, allows you to commune, you sense that that connection has gone. Your heart is, I mean, like, your chest cavity is still, like, pretty much open. There's, like, a flap of skin there. So, like, physically you're going to lose 2 wounds from doing this, from this chest here. 5 nat 20s from Bakazal for Greg as well. That's awesome. He's burning through them. But you sense a lack and loss of connection to your faith and to your powers, and the hole where your heart once was, and your own heart is now on the floor. However, as you kind of come to your senses a few moments later, you sense a deep well of something else within you. It's almost like a whisper on the edge of your mind that you can hear. Something else is inside you now.
is it Matthew? Can you make out Matthew's voice?
You don't know. You can, you're in almost like physical shock at this point as you've done this. As you rise to your feet, you know that there's something there, and you know that how you could call upon it if you were to close your eyes and focus on that sound, but you can't tell what it is without doing that.
Yeah, he's going to stumble over to a corner and begin that process.
What is everyone else doing at this point? Good.
Lewis has a shotgun out and not aggressively pointed at the father, but it's pointed at him. And he's keeping his distance because he doesn't want to get the spurting blood on his white suit. He calls out, "Father, are you doing okay? Can you speak to us, please?"
He doesn't say anything.
Lewis looks to Mildred. Mildred, what's happening to him?
Well, he's most likely communing with the Necronomicon.
And you're okay with that?
Not tuning it to himself in a way. It's a rather interesting decision based on his faith, but I feel like he thought it was necessary under the circumstances after what happened to Matthew. We'll keep an eye on him.
We'll keep an eye on him.
He's doing what he feels he needs to do. And someone had to do it.
Right, can I just put this out here for you? Now, this Necronomicon is possibly the single most powerful book in existence. Well, it's not a book anymore, but it has all knowledge in existence, right? You guys just killed his firstborn son. He's gonna be pissed off, and he's just got all that knowledge.
Maybe the knowledge will enlighten him to things.
I'm just putting it out there. Just don't blame me when he starts blowing up. Right?
It's true. We were honoring the wishes of his son.
Oh, I don't think he's gonna see it that way, lad.
No, you were honoring the wishes, but I had nothing to do with that.
Oh. Well, I mean, I think it's a little late for that, Mr. Delgado. You being a financial man, we're all invested in this now. You can't just walk away. We're here. We have to see this through to the end.
I mean,
together.
There's oblivion through that door, so you can't just walk away.
Right, is the portal still open that Father Carmine came through, or is that shut behind him?
Sure is.
It's open.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, perhaps we should at least get close to the portal, and if when he turns around there, he's no longer himself, well, we know what to do then.
Yes, because a portal is going to stop him.
Well, at least we won't be stuck in the same room with him. At least for about 5 seconds.
If it makes you feel better, dearie.
Lewis will stand in front of the portal, but he'll keep facing Father Carmine.
And Seth's gonna continue just looking at books.
So,
Mildred's gonna she's gonna knit a little bit. She's gonna see if she can find any books that might be helpful to the situation, but she's not expecting really.
Necronomicon for Dummies shows up, yeah.
Yeah.
You take a look around, but the
there just
nature
happens
of these
to be anything
books
written in ancient Hyperborean.
Right. Certainly there's stuff in ancient Hyperborean around here. It's just going to take you hours to go through and translate and figure out what it says. But
I'm fluent in it, so I'll pick it up and just kind of like
Adventures of Conan.
sit down. I have it propped up on a ball of yarn. I'm kind of reading and knitting at the same time.
Okay, so,
Just kind of
Father
looking over
Carmine
every
is...
once in a while.
Yeah, Father Carmine's in the corner. He seems to be sort of quietly knelt down, focusing with his eyes closed on something. It looks like his lips are making the kind of shapes for words, but you don't hear anything coming out of his mouth.
Oh, I don't regret this.
Mildred, what's he doing? Can you tell?
Oh, looks like he's mouthing some words. Basically, if my prescription's correct. As hard to see from here, but I think he's just communing with the Necronomicon, learning what he can about it. Learning
Is no one
things.
freaking out that he's talking to this Necronomicon after ripping out his own heart and sticking another one in?
He's not the first person who has spoken with it.
Travis, I
Probably
am
won't be the
totally
last.
freaking out. I am in 100% with you. I am very disturbed at the turn this has taken. But I don't wish to kill the man.
Oh no, I don't even think we can. Right, Travis is going to go over to Father Carmine and kind of snap his fingers and go, "Hey, Father, you with us? Hello?"
No answer.
So I have a question for Father Carmine. Would you like to spend 30 points of sanity, Father Carmine?
You know that I do.
So Father Carmine loses 30 points of sanity as he opens up the knowledge within himself of the Necronomicon, and all knowledge is laid bare before his mortal eyes. As you focus on the sound, the whisper gets louder and louder, and when you open your eyes, Father Carmine, you're in a room. There's a desk in this room. There's a little lamp that's on, and there is an old man sitting on a chair. He has a kind of wispy-looking beard and eyes that have seen far too much and have no love or care in them anymore. This is a mind-shattering moment for Father Carmine. How much sanity is he now on?
He is currently on 39.
From having lost 30 points of sanity, that must be an indefinite sanity, correct?
You betcha.
Yeah.
Can I suggest something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Vengeance at all costs.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I was going to say. You are completely dead set on this task. And you see this old man in front of you. Ah, so you have come. Like father, like son.
Are you the one that turned my boy?
Turned him? No. I led him.
You attacked him when he was weak. Care to try with me?
We're not really here.
No, we're not.
I've already taken from you everything. Your mind. Your boys. They were never yours. They were always mine. I merely showed them their true perfection. Tried to lead them astray with your own book, but my book is perfection. Yours is a lie. Facsimile.
So you are telling a man that has promised to end everything you want, that he has nothing left to live for. You are a shrewd negotiator.
You fail to understand that I do not want for anything. I have no desires. I am above such mortal, petty whims. Chaos is everything. Knowledge is all. If you destroy the symphony, if you destroy Caligula, it is all the same to me. You are now set on a path of destruction that will never cease, and that I have already won.
I am on a path, but not one of destruction, one of vengeance. Chaos and knowledge are your pleasures, then order and ignorance I shall bring.
Well, perhaps. Then again,
We are not here.
we are not here. Perhaps one day we will be.
That shall be an interesting day.
Quite, but you have read my book. Therefore, part of me is in you. So, what
It's
is it
my
that you
book
wish?
now.
No. You're merely looking after it for me. You're a renter in my library. Just happens that your body is where you're keeping it.
What does the law say about possession? In all forms.
What is it that you want to know, son?
It's very easy, Father. How can we make not here, here?
There is a hospital. In this hospital, there are dead people. In this hospital is where you can find me.
I shall bring flowers.
Yes, you will.
And Father turns around 360 and says,
Goodbye.
You'll watch as you sort of do the 360 turn. This is Grandfather Whispers, almost like a puppet sort of does this circle with his finger as you turn. Good. I'll see you soon, son. Judgment Day is coming.
It certainly is.
He clicks a finger, and you feel yourself falling. As this happens, everyone, including Lewis, Travis, Seth, Mildred, and Father Carmine, feel themselves being pulled down into the ground. And you will all watch as back in Sloane's room, you are dragged down into the earth, almost with your face first. It's like you're on one of those wires in an Alien Ant Farm video, and you're you're pulled down into the ground. As this happens, we're going to start with Lewis. Lewis, you feel yourself falling once again as the power of the Necronomicon inside of a Carmine drags you down into the earth as Grandfather Whispers clicks a finger. You are somewhere else. You're on a blimp, and This machine is very similar to those cars that you were inhabiting before. Looking around you, this huge machine of metal also is made of flesh as well. You can see that hundreds, perhaps thousands of bodies and lungs and organs are the creation of this vessel in which you stand. Hundreds of mindless slaves work tirelessly inside here at the engines, which are, of course, huge pairs of lungs which heave with, it seems like oil which is being poured into these lungs. There's huge containers that these mindless slaves are pouring in here. You, however, stand at the head of this balcony, looking down at your slaves, at your minions, as you are the banker. You are the richest person on Earth and beyond. There is no one as wealthy as you are, nor as greedy or fat as you look down at your bloated body, which has been filled with cheese and Coca-Cola and every possible trifle and delicious delight that you could possibly feast upon has been inside your gigantic bloated body. And you look out upon your minions in pleasure as you know that you are powerful. The skull, which is in your hand, begins to move and floats up towards you as it kind of turns its head and says, "Why, Lewis, isn't it marvelous? What a day we're having here."
Yes, it is something else to look down upon the world that you've created and just enjoy it for what it is.
Quite. Well, I would like you to convene the others, the father, the mother, the fool, the librarian. There's something I need them all to see, and well, I need my best man on the job.
Oh, well, very well. I have not seen them in some time. Where can I find them?
Oh, we'll guide you there. The music will lead on your minions to your destination. You needn't worry about anything, Lewis.
Martin, I'm having trouble remembering. How did we get here?
Lewis, we've always been here.
Yes, I see that now. This was
You've gone ahead and
inevitability.
forgotten again. Inevitable indeed. Well, convene the others. I do so love a family reunion.
Yes, I will do just that, Martin.
The skull falls back down into one of your many pockets as you feel the blimp kind of moving away, changing direction as the mindless slaves beat away at the drums that you can hear and the engine billows. As you make your way out onto the deck so that you can see where your destination is headed, outside, of course, swirls above you gigantic limbs of creatures in the sky. You can see other blimps pass by as well in the distance, all similarly with the face of Martin Poole upon them, but they're all smaller and worse than yours. Behind you, you hear the roar of other engines as you look back at your armada. Hundreds of these blimps flying behind you as you are the commodore of this fleet, this armada, if you will. Looking down towards your destination as it grows closer, you can see what once was a city, indeterminable which city this would have been before, but it is now a city of churches and cathedrals, and a city of candles. It almost burns as it comes up towards you, these huge spires. It looks like it's on fire, But as you get closer, you see that each and every one of these lights are candles that are burning. Millions, perhaps tens of millions of these candles burning on every roof and every surface of the city. Every building is a church or spire or cathedral. And the largest one in the center is where your armada is coming in to land. A gigantic steeple of stone and flesh, similarly to your own engines, covered in these candles by its worshippers. As the blimp finds its way in a safe landing spot, the armada is still in the skies above you. The ramp is let out for you to come down as your minions are before you. And you find yourself in a chorus of tens of thousands of obedient, penitent men and women who are on their hands and knees towards the church, a staircase leading upwards to the doors.
Well now, just in case he's not happy to see me, why don't a handful of you follow me in? And he waits, barely able to move. I think some of his minions actually have to help push him through doorways to try to go into the main chapel there.
Absolutely. You'll have your personal, bodyguard escort you towards the cathedral, and you'll see one side as you rise up the staircase with them. Looking inside this cathedral, there is Lefava, and he is finishing his service with these thousands of other slaves inside this cathedral, which is large enough to almost be like a football stadium. This thing is gigantic, and hot as well from all of the flames of the candles. Everyone here is sweating pretty intensely in their robes and garments. And you'll see Father Carmine, who is at the head of this altar, finishing his service. Father Carmine, you will notice that Banker is here. You weren't expecting him. You haven't seen him in many years. You've been busy on your work, but it seems as though he needs something. But he's been very rude to interrupt your ceremony.
I'm sorry, my son, there's no cheese here.
Oh, don't worry, Father. I have plenty of cheese. As much as I could ever want. Will, whose name is on the lips of the worshippers in this church? Is it something that I can hear as I'm coming in?
Father Carmine, why don't you tell me?
Do I still have my faculties about me? Like I haven't been in this future. Carmine is still as he was.
Oh, no. You are a twisted and destroyed version of whatever you were. All that was left was vengeance, and when that was taken from you as well, you are a broken husk. Your false god was shown to be just that, false, and taken from you. And there is only one real god, and that is either Martin Poole or Grandfather Whispers.
I was going to say the substitute for the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost would be Matthew, Jolly, and Castor. But if you want to go in another direction,
that's works,
sure.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it'll be a cult to his sons, Matthew, Jolly, and Castor.
There's something about that disgusts Lewis, but he swallows down the bile and says, "Oh, Father, I wouldn't have come all this way just for cheese and wine. No, it's time to get the old family back together again. We're being summoned for a meeting."
How can I possibly refuse?
You cannot. None of us can. That is the nature of the world now.
He will slowly dismiss his flock and join the banker.
Go ahead.
Oh, come now. I think you will find it very relaxing on my lip.
Yeah. The ramp is lowered once again. And it is a ramp, in fact, made entirely of money. It is like, been solidified and stuck together, just like this wads of cash that just like comes down to meet you as you see this huge armada in the skies as the banker and the father are reunited, head up the steps of the blimp. Your worshippers flock to you, Father Carmine, and wish to follow you as you go. It's almost all you could do to stop from being completely mobbed by these thousands of people pressing their bodies towards you. But as soon as they see a sign from you, to like holding the hand or any kind of motion, they will immediately stop, back away, knowing their place. You'll enter back into the skies once again and share an uneasy journey as you head towards your next destination. The city that you next come to on Earth is one unlike any other that you'd have seen before. If you were to strip everything adult about architecture, about life, that is what the city looks like. A city of children. And there are small little houses. Everything looks like it's built in the image of like a crib or some kind of maternal image or symbol. Has been built. The houses are tiny, as if they were just built for small people, like children. And where there were once churches for Father Carmine, there are now these just cribs, essentially, these stone architectural cribs. It is a bastion to children and motherhood, and yet at the same time it seems twisted and wrong. To you, this is perhaps beautiful. This is the where birth happens on Earth now, and perhaps the only place where anyone is born. You will also see that running through this river, there is running through the city, there is rivers of children. You hear their whinings and their screamings, their cacophonous cries of coming upwards through the skies as hundreds, if not thousands, of these swimming children, part fish, part human, with fish-like bodies and the heads of children with jagged teeth in them, swim outwards towards the world and outwards towards the sea. As the armada gets closer, you touch down once again, and by close to one of these rivers, where it seems like this factory of children pumping out these babies is coming from. Down here, there are less so humans, more so drones. If you're familiar with a colony of ants, how they protect the queen, it seems similar to this. These insectoid-like humans come towards you in greeting and deference. They're tall, maybe 7 feet tall, with long, spindly, insectoid limbs and the heads of humans. They seem to be the ones that tend the river of children. They have huge nets that seem to sift through and move the children along in this viscous and turgid river. But they come towards you in deference, and they lead you towards the main factory here. As they pull open the doors, you will see the mother. You haven't seen her in a long time. She is here with her children, almost covered in them. As like a queen ant, as you will see that there are just these fish babies crawling all over her, and all over the floor in this room, a cacophony of cries and hundreds, thousands of them. As you look at the old, ragged form of what once was Mildred, the mother. Mildred, your only purpose now is to birth life into this world. There is no other natural form of life which can exist on Earth anymore. The world is too toxic to bear it, but you, alone, have this blessed task to bring Yog-Sothoth's children into this world, and it is a holy one. You have not been expecting to see the banker and the father, but here they are nonetheless, which must mean that something important is happening.
Well, hello there, dearies.
Hello, Mildred. I wish I could say it is good to see you again, but I had sort of hoped I would never have to again. I would also say you're looking good, but let's be honest.
Well, at least my children come visit me. That's a pleasant change, even if some others don't.
Yes, well, there is that. The father and I are here because we are supposed to gather the old team together again for a meeting. We're being summoned.
I see. I knew the two of you together could only mean it was of the utmost importance. Well, let me find the babysitters, and I'll be right along, I suppose.
Yes, take your time. I believe I will wait on my blimp. I will see you then. Don't bring any of the ant people, please.
Well, they're the babysitters. They can come with. They gotta tend to the children.
Lewis will turn and start wading out.
And I'll just kind of pat them all on the heads and, okay, there you go. Drop my knitting needles on the floor and peel off little children and hand them to the people.
The ant folk the drones will come along and kind of scoop them from you and hold them and go out to throw them into the river, which is of course their ultimate destination, to lead them once again to the sea.
Charlie 302, Susie 897, Little Billy 984.
You
only so many names. You gotta start adding numbers to the end of them after a while.
Yeah, it's true. You exit from your factory of birth back to the blimp with the banker and the father. As you leave the city of wombs behind, entering once again into the sky, your armada behind you once again, sharing a uneasy journey once more towards your next destination. The next city that comes into sight after a day or so of travel, perhaps, is the City of Fools. This place is a madhouse. You see down there colosseums of revelry, of pain, of pleasure, of every vice possible under the sun seems to be being committed here 24/7. There are hundreds, thousands of revelers. It's almost like a party that spilled out onto the streets of the city. But the city is alive with people in the throes of revelry, drunkenness, lust, and feasting as well, which perhaps draws Mr. Delgado's eye. but it seems like the ultimate party destination as you'll watch these people dancing and reveling in the streets. As you do that, as you watch them and get closer, you come towards the main Colosseum, the central hub of the City of Fools. And the blimp actually lands just outside of this, and you're shown by revelers as the ramp leads itself down into the Colosseum itself. In the Colosseum, there are not just traditional blood sports happening, although those are indeed most certainly happening. You will watch as humans fight claw and nail to beat one another to death. They also some fish baby children who seem to be eating humans here as well, or eating one another. People clubbing one another to death in furious rages. But there are also people just drinking from these huge vats of alcohol, which seems to be kind of like fuming up. There are people just having sex in one corner. Over there, it's just a huge pile of bodies of pleasure, which seems to be happening. And every madness under the sun appears to be occurring in this Colosseum to the chants and, I guess, glory of those watching. In the center of this, God damn it, there goes the PC. In the center of this arena, in a position raised up, not unlike Mr. Delgado's blimp, you will see the fool himself. The man that was once Travis, perhaps completely overcome by his alcoholism. He lives now only for pleasure and for revelry. And you'll watch as Travis, you live now only for these fine things, and you don't like your entertainment to be spoiled or to be interrupted, which seems to be exactly why the father, the banker, and the mother must be here, because you haven't seen them in a long time.
Well, where are they?
Where are who, Travis?
Oh, there you are. Sorry. They've got to focus.
Hello there, dearie.
There's a
Hello,
whole
Malcolm.
kind of cohort who are with Travis of bizarre-looking people, part human, part various different animals and creatures that seem to have been bred together here in this Colosseum. They kind of whisper in his ear and provide him with information, and it seems like counsel as well, as this kind of tiny little figure was, I don't think you should trust them, Master. They won't want anything good. They'll stop us. They'll try and stop us.
Yes. So, why are you here, lads? Why are you interrupting my celebrations?
Well, believe me, I wish that I could join your celebrations. It looks like a wild time here in the old city. But unfortunately, this is above our pay grade. You see, we have all been summoned. The entire team.
Summoned? You know, I've been waiting for this day. I hoped it never come. But surely we have a wee bit of time for some entertainment. It's been so long, Lewis. Are you sure you don't have a bit of time to enjoy what I have to offer? And I just do a gentle shake of the hand, and then, like, you'll just see, like, women and men bring out tables of food and drink and everything before Lewis, like, oh, tuck in, lad. Tuck in.
Lewis will go towards the table and reach for a hunk of cheese and take a bite. And he'll look back to Father Carmine and he'll say, "What do you think, Father? Think we could spare a couple of hours before we return?"
I think that would be up to you, Mr. Delgado. You're the one on the leash, and you're the one that was sent.
Oh, I hate being responsible for things. Oh, no, Travis, no. We don't wish to make Martin mad. We can come back here after our business is done.
You know, Father, you're a real party kill, you know that. All you had to say was, sure. Now, I would offer you something, Father, but I know that you're just one of these old boring farts that's too busy pining over your wee little lads that you lost all so long ago. Right, so it's important. We gotta go now. Now, can I bring a few of my friends with me to enjoy along the way?
Yes, as long as they don't look too weird, I'm fine with that.
Too weird? What's too weird?
Well,
Like that
no.
The one that's a wolf with no pants on.
I'll
For
have you know.
instance,
Go on. Alright, fine. So, alright, I'll just, you know what? I'll just take these around me, okay? Just these ones around me. I don't want to interrupt anyone's plans. And they'll stay in my room, alright? We'll stay in our room for the entire journey. How about that?
that sounds fine to me, Travis. I hope you have fun.
Hey, me too. And by the way, you're more than welcome in my room to share in these pleasures.
I do not partake.
Alright. What about you, Mildred?
Oh, I don't know. I might indulge. It's not often I get away from the kids.
Go wild. Go wild. Alright, let me just... Hang on. I need my hat. Thank you so much, lads. Alright.
You take my mind off worrying about them, so why not? Let's do it.
Alright, I like you, Mildred. I forgot how wild you really are. Me and Mildred will share a room.
Mildred and Travis go up the blimp with the father and the banker and share a week of revelry and pleasures with one another, locked into the fool's room. You hear all sorts of sounds coming from within, but your imagination leads you into darker thoughts. When the door opens, you'll see the fool and the mother come out. They are both stark naked, covered in blood, and the fools who have been with them are massacred and dead. You're not sure how long they've been dead in there, but they're most certainly no longer alive. They have been completely destroyed. Their bodies are barely anything left intact, and they have become new plaster for your walls of your blimp, Mr. Delgado. But the two of them exit on the day of your final destination, which is, of course, Fuller Librarian. And as you stand out on the deck with one another, you'll see the city rising before you. Though this is a city unlike any other. It is in the middle of the sky, and it is upside down. It is being held there by something, you're not entirely sure, but gravity does not seem to work in the same way as it does on the rest of Earth here. It's upside down. All of the buildings and architectures are completely on their head. The architecture in this place is ancient and Hyperborean in nature. Huge citadels of sand and stone rise out from the ground, which is, of course, somewhere in the sky. And it looks like while everything is being held there, none of the sand that is on the quote-unquote floor appears to be moving in any way. It seems to be stuck there and held by some other force or power. Great pyramids rise out of the ground as well, these huge steeples of architecture that would have taken thousands of years to build because they are larger than most cities. And as the blimps fly into this space, you feel them turning upside down as well. as the gravity flips itself on his head along with you and all of the rest of the armada. And there's a brief moment of churning vertigo as you feel yourselves being completely twisted, and yet somehow you are kept completely intact and alive as you now enter into this new zone. The spires coming close, and the lead one has a gate. Keenet. The lead one has a huge gate of rippling runes and magic in front of it. The blimps, the armada land. You'll see the people, the things that worship this space, looking out from across the pyramids. They're black shades, not really human in any way. They move in a fluid and almost dance-like nature as they come. They're perhaps 3 to 4 feet tall, very small-looking, and these shades appear out of the corner of your visions at all times, but they don't seem to come too close. They seem to be watching from afar. The gate before you has a place where it looks like you can place your hands in order to enter, to rise up to the top of the steeple. You're let down off the blimp, you're before the gate.
I always did love
Rufus.
Hyperborean architecture.
Rufus, please place your hand right there for me, if you don't mind.
Rufus does so immediately, without thinking, and you'll watch as he is absorbed into the gate, this almost liquid-like gate, and appears on the other side. I'm here, Master.
Yes. Well, I'd hoped something else would happen, but that's all right, and he'll put his hand down too.
Ugh. I hate this part. Ugh. That was a place
We also have a viewer decision as you guys are doing this. Underneath this line in chat, you guys are going to tell me, who else do they meet? Who else do they need to meet? As you all will place your hands onto the gate, you'll find yourselves being pulled through. For a moment, there's a warm embrace and a whisper on your mind as Grandfather Whispers welcomes you into his home. And it's a very warm and welcoming feeling as you're let through here. And then the journey begins anew up the steps of this pyramid. And as you head up the temple steps, you find yourselves in cold, dark rooms within. These rooms are lined with scrolls, with artifacts, and with, most importantly, books. All around here, there are thousands of books lined up. You make your way through this maze of this maze-like library. The most important book is in the center. It glows golden and draws you in with the light of the Necronomicon before you, and its primary librarian before you, the man that was once Steph Penhollow. Steph, it is now your sole duty and task to read the good word of Grandfather Whispers and to understand everything about it so that you might praise him better. You're not expecting to find the others before you. Indeed, you'd almost forgotten entirely that they existed because everything else is so very unimportant compared to the book.
Yes. Friends. It has been too long.
Hello there, Seth. It's good to see you again.
Mildred. Yes, I miss, your cookies. Yes. It's been oh so long. And, the banker. How goes, investments?
Oh, just like I always predicted. Coca-Cola always comes through.
Yes, that's it. You always did say that. His face kind of falls a little bit when he sees Carmine. Ah, Father. It is agreeable to see you again.
Sure, Mr. Penhollow.
The wound is still there, I see. And, having fun as always, aren't we, Travis?
Why? You should try it sometime, Seth. You might enjoy it.
Oh, I have known such delights, the likes of which you have not even begun to contemplate. Between these pages, they all exist. Everything that you have ever tried, that you have ever, every ecstasy that you have reached.
I don't know, have you tried being in a room alone with Mildred and her knitting needles? Well, that's something special, I tell you that, new.
Only once. What brings
She
you
just
here?
blushes a little.
All of that aside, Seth, now we are here because we are gathering everyone together for a meeting with Martin. He's summoning you as he's summoned us.
Ah. Well, very well then. Kind of looks longingly at the Necronomicon. I suppose it will keep on its own for a brief moment.
If you wish to take it with you, you may. I don't know how it works with checking things out here.
No, it will be fine where it is. I guess
I'm
we
sure
should
it will.
make haste.
Seth,
Mr. Poole does not like to be... Oh, yes, Travis.
sorry, before we go, you wouldn't happen to have any helpers or anything? I mean, the journey from here to Martin Poole is quite long, and me and Mildred seem to have run out. You wouldn't happen to have any helpers you could have along the journey, would you? Otherwise, it's going to be a wee bit boring, you understand?
And Seth kind of looks around at the immensity of the room he's in. He's like, I have shared so much with so many long ago. This all is mine to care for, and mine alone. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Not even a janitor, I don't know.
It's mine, and mine alone.
Hey, alright, Seth, I don't want any of you. Alright, we'll have to just make do.
Travis, you can have one of mine. Only one.
Oh, well, it was just
Only
one.
one. When we get back to your city, you can do whatever you like, but
Oh, I know.
only one.
I guess we'll just have to make it last.
And thank you to Whiteform for that £25 donation. Says, thank you for your time. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate that. As you discuss the logistics of how many slaves you're going to give Travis on the last leg of your journey, you come to some kind of arrangement, I'm sure, of, maybe like one per week, one per day, something like that. Some kind of stipend of flesh, so that Travis gets his pound of flesh. As you leave the library behind, it's perhaps the hardest thing that you've ever had to do, Seth, because you're leaving the single holiest text behind that you could possibly hope to, and you've almost forgotten how to live outside, how to function, how to move, how to eat. Mm-hmm. All of these functions seem incredibly unnecessary and unimportant in comparison to the overall goal. However, as you rise back into the blimp of Mr. Delgado, which, by the way, has Lewis's face stamped all over it rather than Fool's, which is the one thing that he gets along with all of the Armada. It's the one thing he gets. This is his contract. You guys will find yourselves leaving the City of Knowledge behind. And finally, before you, there is one last destination. The armada rises into the sky once again as you float ever onwards with these almost like bilge pumps of lungs being billowed onwards. And you guys will see riding ahead of you a small and yet fairly unassuming hospital. The hospital itself is, I say small. It's small in comparison to the rest of the cities that you've been to. For a hospital itself, it's fairly sprawling and large with many wings to it, but certainly nowhere near the size of the other structures that you've been close to. Of course, gravity has reasserted itself in control once again, and the blimps land just outside of this little hospital wing. The walls are white. The placard reads, "Do no harm."
Well, I think this is where we need to be. Are all of you ready to meet with Mr. Poole?
Not ready as anyone can be, I suppose.
Hey, hurry up, I'm getting bored.
Seth is already by the door, like, waiting.
Will, when was the last time we saw Poole?
Yeah.
You haven't seen Poole. You don't even remember. You've no idea how long you've even been in that church. It feels like forever. The only way he's ever communicated with you before is via a skull, so you haven't seen him in... Maybe it's been years, maybe it's been centuries. It's tough to say.
And then Grandfather Whispers. Ever since Father Carmine's little conversation with him about coming to a hospital and that's where he is, he's never run across him? In this
You've heard
time?
him all the time. He speaks to you all of the time. He owns your mind.
But
you've
I've never been in
met
the
him.
same place.
Correct.
Okay.
The doors are closed, but they look like they're not locked.
Well, Rufus, please go open that door there. Just throw it right open. Just see what happens. And he pushes Rufus forward, trying to make Rufus throw that door open.
He immediately goes to open up the door. And there's also, I think there's two wild magic surges for Greg. There's one from Nokiana and there's one from Wobbit. So we can probably resolve those about now, actually. So, you guys ask Rufus to open the door. As he does this, you'll watch as Rufus melts. His flesh bubbles and boils in his skin, and he disintegrates down into the ground. He has not been blessed or protected in any way.
I'm going to need another Rufus again.
What number's that? Louis?
Oh,
13?
I don't keep count of things anymore. I'm retired from counting.
And Seth pulls out a small, like, tablet, and he's like, I believe that is 634.
Oh, that is
Tucks
a
it
lot
back
higher
in.
than I thought.
Oh, Seth, do you want to go in next?
I suppose so. And he'll reach out to open the door, thinking that nothing can happen to the caretaker of the Necronomicon.
Correct. The wild magic surges for Father Carmine are that all metal within 50 yards appear to be made of solid shadow. Super cool. So any of like the handles of the doors look like you could just like pass right through them, like they're not actually real. And when Father Carmine next uses magic, he must save or fall unconscious. Well, that's okay. That'll be fine, I'm sure. As the
Does that
bubble
mean
of
my
flesh
knitting
that
needles are
once...
shadow now?
Yeah. They've gone through so many changes, and I love it. The
They're
bubble of
destructible in
flesh
shadow.
that once was Rufus, you step over him, Seth, and open up the door, and before you there is a corridor. In this corridor, there is a monkey.
Why is there a monkey?
The monkey looks at you.
Perhaps he will take us to our place. I remember a monkey.
Yes, do I.
Laszlo, yes, Father. Look down at Laszlo. Are you here to take us to the grandfather?
It kind of yaps and turns around and starts walking down the corridor.
Seth will start
I
following.
suppose we'll follow.
Travis and those following as well.
Yeah, Travis will follow. He's bored.
Yeah.
Lewis will follow, but he'll also speak to. He'll try to say to Father Carmine before they go through the door. Father Carmine, are you sure you're going to be okay? Wasn't that your boy's monkey?
He doesn't say anything, continues to walk.
Lewis watches him for a second go, smiles, and then follows in.
The monkey leads you on down these twisting corridors, and there's a very kind of like antiseptic smell fills your nostrils. Something that is very clean, but almost acridly clean, of a hospital wing, and the smells of sickness in the air as well. And you will see that there's a door before you, the end of one of these corridors, that the monkey points towards and yaps a little bit.
Well, Seth will go up to the door that he gestures to, and we'll open it up to go in.
Hitting the door.
You go and open the door. Its task completed, the monkey takes out a little pistol from inside its pocket and shoots itself in the head. Blows out his brains. It lies there dead on the floor and no one gives a shit. You open up the door and there is inside several beds. On these beds other people that you may have been familiar with as former agents of Caligula. Some living, some dead. There is of course, Castor lies here in a hospital bed. Seemingly, all of these people seem to be completely unconscious. He lies here. Of course, so does Kip. Dr. Pierce is also here as well. And as you look down, there are beds filled with agents of Caligula that you would be able to recognize. Of course, Matthew is there as well, next to Kip and Jolly. Yeah, Kip and Castor. And seated in a as if a visitor paying their respects and seeing an ill patient, you see that there is Martin Poole. He's there in his long coat and jacket and appears to be more disturbed than ever before. His face and body roils with tentacles underneath the surface of his skin, as at all times his skin seems to be moving, as though creatures are moving underneath the flesh. He wears various different rings on his hands, and he looks towards you with those cool blue, calculating eyes. He manages to create a facsimile of a welcoming smile for you all, and says, why is the old gang back together again?
Yes, you summoned us. We have important work. And he kind of looks over at Travis and like, well, some of us have important work.
Of course. Very, very important work indeed that you've all been doing for, well, the greater good. Mr. Travis, how was your flight here?
Oh, well, the first part was alright. The second, the final part here was a wee little uneventful. You ran out of people, you see.
Oh dear, we're gonna have to send a whole new city over towards you, Mr. Travis. Some more flesh for your Colosseums. I don't want to see you going wanting. Feel free, whenever you need, to put in a requisition order, how many bodies you need, what type, that kind of thing.
Hey, I'll do that. I'll do that on the way back.
Good man, and dear Mildred, how are you, mother?
Oh, I suppose I'm doing all right. A little worried about the children while I'm gone, but, a mother always worries.
Of course. Well, don't you worry. I know that they are under the best possible care possible. And they're going to be just fine while you're away. And when you come back, that river will still be flowing again. I wouldn't have taken you away unless it was important. And of course, that they were under correct supervision from the drones. And, Louis, it's been too long since I've seen you in the flesh, if you will. How goes the stock game?
Oh, everything's going according to plan, Martin.
Good. If ever you need more ships for your armada, just stop on by and we'll make sure to get you whatever it is you need.
Magnanimous
We
dispensation.
want for nothing now, of course. Back is out with the £50 donation, my friend. Oh yeah. Oh, that's gonna happen. Awesome. Thank you, dude. He looks towards Seth. Mr. Penhollow.
Magnanimous dispensation.
Holy shit! That's a free £100 donation from Wobbit.
Oh no.
92. We all know
Cannibal.
what that means, my friends. We all know what that means. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. Can we get some hype there in chat for Wobbit? Holy shit, dude. This is just the perfect moment for all of us to have. Fucking hell, okay. Alright. Whew. This has just got interesting. Just now got interesting. Thank you guys
just
so
now?
much.
Are we sure Prospero
Yeah,
isn't
just
terrible?
now, just at this point from Wobbit.
Pulls his mask off,
Just so
Scooby-Doo style.
happens. Yeah, it just so happens that I have something ready for this. May have been that I've been planning such a moment. He looks towards Seth though, and he'll say, "Mr. Penhollow, how goes the reading?"
It goes. It is beautiful. It is everything.
Of course. Well, that's good to hear, and I'm glad that everyone seems to be doing their job well. Don't worry about it. I've got that for the Warhammer game next. I'm sending that to Jim. Now. So, looks then to Father Carmine. Father Carmine, how is the worship in that city of yours? I hope you're not getting too hot in those roads.
he ignores Martin and goes over and stands by the bed of Matthew, Jolly, and Castor, moving between them and keeping at least one hand on each of the two of the three at any given time, just slowly going back and forth between them.
He looks towards you and watches you for a moment, and you think you can see almost like a pity in Martin Poole's eyes, but you know him better than that. Oh dear, dear, I didn't even think what kind of memories this might bring up for you, Father. That 3 dead boys right there. The Holy Trinity, if you will. That is beautiful in its own way. There is he gets the smile of just having had an idea, that kind of cruel, wicked look of sudden inspiration striking him. Oh, wouldn't it be funny if we had some communion here? I think that would be marvelous. After all, we should worship properly. And he looks towards you, and you hear the loud beating of drums inside your mind once again, the slave that you really are. Here's a knife. He goes into a pocket and hands you a knife. I want you to cut off a bit here, a little bit there maybe, and let's all have a piece. Let's all partake in the communion, Father.
He does so.
You will watch as Father Carmine retrieves pieces of flesh from each one of his children and hands them around like a communion wafer. Siphons off some blood for the wine, the sacrament. And you all partake in a nice little drink with Martin Poole. This is perhaps a little morsel, but it does feel holy in nature, at least, to do so. You feel a little better for having done so. Martin Poole breaks away from the moment with a cruel look towards Father Carmine and says, well, I suppose we should get down to business. Someone here I'd like you to meet, not my friends here. He motions towards the former agents of Caligula. Someone who I think would be very useful in the days to come. You see, we've got big plans, my friends. Grandfather Whispers has been very clear on this. It's not just this world. We've done Earth, if you will. Now there are many others to look towards. The stars are all before us. And well, while we've done Earth, we still need to expand and spread the good word. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. That is the way of progress.
Just imagine the pleasures they'll have on different stars and planets. Something I can't even comprehend.
You could share the knowledge with all of them.
Well, I suppose we've got to populate the planets.
Exactly. A planet needs a lot of things. First of all, a population. Mildred is correct. We need someone there to invest in it, Mr. Delgado. We need to shapen up these savages and show them some form of culture and religion, and that, of course, is Father Carmine's job. But they also need knowledge. They need to be able to learn and read so that they might follow our commands better and not be just fucking apes and savages. We need a lot more than that, and that's why Mr. Penhollow is here. And last but not least, every man and woman has their vices, and that's, of course, why Travis is with us, to show us the way of a little bit of entertainment and pleasure here and there, if you will. There's a man who has, well, I say a man, someone who has a lot of information who can help us in this regard, and let's go and see him. he steps out of the hospital room and down the corridor. He kicks the dead body of Laszlo aside as the monkey's body skids down the corridor and walks into another room. In this room, there is someone who's been wired in through tubes to the rest of this building. And it is Prospero. His mask is still on. He lies on the bed completely naked with all of these, perhaps hundreds of tubes going in and out of him. It looks like blood is
Did you say
going back
they're
and forth.
pumping him for information? Will? Sorry.
His skin looks like it's ancient and desiccated, to the point where perhaps even blood isn't enough to completely sustain him, and they're having to quite literally pump him with blood in order to feed him and to keep whatever Prospero truly is alive.
And what do we
Martin
need?
shows you into the room and says, "Well, I think Mr. Prospero and you are well acquainted from previous life."
Yes. Made a deal.
Ooh, that guy.
Prospero cracks a smile. Yes. A little bird come back to his nest. Seth, I've missed you. I've wanted you. Come home. And he lifts up a finger towards you for you to take his hand.
Seth will cautiously approach the, with like a look back at Martin Poole as he does. They keep you here? Why do they keep you here?
I took a side, Seth, as we spoke about. Either way, we'd end up alive, and here we are. Both of us. Alive.
Yeah. Yes. This life. And he will slowly reach out and gingerly take the finger that it offered.
You take it and you feel your hand once again turning to like claw-like bird's talon. And you look down at your hand and there is just a full talon there. And Prospero's, when you touch his hand, turns into the same. And your two kind of talon-like bird hands lock with one another. And perhaps what is quite a beautiful moment, at least Prospero feels that way. And you see little feathers appear on your arm once again as you're kind of coming home to the roost occurs. And I'm here still to help, to provide information. There are other worlds out there that Mr. Poole wishes to conquer. And who am I?
Yes.
To stand in his way.
Who are any of us here at the end? We are nothing.
Quiet. And Poole seems to watch this moment like a father, and kind of a proud father, and nods and says, "Well, I'll leave you all to it. I can see that I'm interrupting a very important family occasion. As I mentioned, I do some love family reunions." He steps out of the hospital room and down into another corridor, leaving you alone with Prospero.
What do you have left, Prospero?
I don't have much, but
You
we
have
are alone
something.
here in these halls.
My question for you is, how much do you have left? Any of you?
I have everything,
Carmine-
Prospero.
Carmine opens up his robes and reveals the empty hole where his heart used to be.
Send us back. Or forward, wherever. One more chance.
One more chance, eh? I suppose I could try, but what's the use when you are what you are now? Your true selves. Perhaps you're the only one with anything left, Father. What about you, Zeph? Are you still mine? Can I still trust you?
I don't know if you could ever trust me. I was always a coward. I have my books now. That is all I have. It is all I am. No longer a coward. No longer scared. No longer anything.
What of you, Travis? Your voice is taking you completely. Is there something left of a man in there?
Oh, this is so boring. I need to do something. Prospero, unless you're gonna give me something that I entertain myself with. Shut up. Hey. Although, I suppose seeing Martin Poole fight and die might be interesting.
I can see what you are now. As I always did. Mildred. What's left of you?
Probably not that many eggs, but sorry, bro. Probably not that many eggs, but all I have left really is my children. Who I do wonder about my firstborn and the ones I couldn't save. He kind of looks back down the hospital hall.
Yes. Some failures ahead, would seem. And you, Louis, you I could always see through.
Prospero. I believe you are meant to help us move to other worlds, conquer other worlds, expand the human race. But all I'm hearing coming out of your mouth is a traitor's whisper. Are you still with the symphony? Are you still with all of us, the world? What's left of you, Prospero?
He never was with the symphony. He looked out for himself.
She's right. I only ever cared for the earth so that I could feed on it. Now, nothing left of worth to feed on. Destroyed everything that was good. There's nothing left for me here. I could flee, I suppose. But what's the use now when Poole and you will destroy everything in time? Sloane saw this, as do I. But you are the only chance that we have. The only hope, I suppose. Father Carmine.
Hope?
Strange word, I'm sure. Father Carmine.
Yes.
Is there hope for them? If I sent you back, could the wounds be healed?
I do not know. But we will do as my boy suggested. We will either win, or we will destroy this place.
Very well. This was the last bastion. The last place that was safe. It was safe before. I can help you here. If you can get there. Caligula is the answer. I will send you back. And what you do then, let us hope that we can delay Judgment Day. Therefore, Zeph, come here, child.
Yes. Yes, Master.
Take my hand.
And Prospero's grip on you tightens, and you feel a red tear opening up where Prospero's body is, as you are all pulled through it. His last effort, his last portal. And it leads you to the library and to the Necronomicon. And the five of you stand there, Prospero having spent himself, presumably in this, as he was rent asunder by the force of this portal opening from within him. You stand, you five, before the Necronomicon, which has access to all knowledge, all power, and most importantly, all time.
Oh,
If your hands go over this holy scripture once again. Prospero's words stick with you for a moment. You could go back. What do you do?
So I'm to assume we're back in Sloane's library, yes?
Sorry, you're back in your library. You are the keeper still.
Oh,
Your
right.
Giant vault, yes.
Gotcha.
You're still
Yes.
the father, the banker, the mother, the fool, and the librarian, but something has opened to you that you didn't realize before was possible. Prospero's words saying that you could go back. So thought has never occurred to you to actually use the book. You're merely its keeper. But before you lies all knowledge.
And at the mention, remembering that word, hope, the librarian will kind of look around at everyone and actually kind of look over his shoulder, even though his library is completely just empty of everyone else.
Do you suppose that we could change? We could stop this? I barely remember the world as it was, but it was better than this, was it not?
Lewis will put a hand on Seth's shoulder, look him right in the eye, and say, Seth, can't defy Martin's will. The safest, best, happiest thing for all of us is to enjoy the world we have and to make it in our image.
But we make it in his image, not ours. Mr. Delgado, when I remember meeting you, you had the world in your hand. You could do anything. Now aren't we just pawns? Aren't we just doing others' wills?
I have the largest blimp in the entire world. Every other blimp is beholden, a monument to Martin Poole, but not mine. I made myself. You can make yourself too, but not if you look back.
Possessions are not all that matters, Mr. Delgado. Haven't you
And
learned
Mildred,
that?
What if all of your children? Would you have them all be unborn? Do you not love the children you have made in this world?
I love all of my children, Mr. Delgado. I both birthed and adopted. But what about all the children and adults alike that I could help? If this wouldn't here to come, so many people lost so many things. So many people that were important to them.
And what of you, Travis? Do you want to give up your city? Your life?
I feel nothing. The reason I do all these delights, all these looking for the next highs, I don't feel any of it. All I had was vengeance, and then when he took that away, I just don't have anything. If going back makes me able to feel again, and I'm all for it.
And what of you, Father Carmine?
You dare to ask?
We were all friends once. We fought together. We lost. We saw things unimaginable. If you're all determined to go back, I'll go back too. I'll go with you.
Yes, you will. Seth, can you send us back?
I have studied this book, but never been allowed to use it. I can send us back, I believe. It would be my pleasure. For it's been an eternity of having that which I always desired, never truly embracing it. So if it means losing this, if only just for a moment of true experience, we will go back. And Seth will begin turning to a page in the Necronomicon. Not sure which one, but he knows which one.
Of course.
And begin reciting from its text.
As Seth begins to read the verse from the Necronomicon, you feel its heart, its pulse, the beating again of your old friend, as he begins to chant louder and louder. The golden glow from the book looms larger in front of you all, and you find yourselves being drawn towards it, drawn into it, the power, knowledge. Thank you, indeed. And as you feel that, you find yourselves falling once again, but this fall is unlike any of the others. It's smooth. It's almost beautiful in its own way. You feel that kind of water-like sensation, suppose like you're falling through water. But this time there's melodic music drifting in, a sense of comfort around you that is unlike any of the other times that you've been in a sensation like this. And then that stops, and you hear the sound of traffic, of people walking, of bells tolling, and then you smell the gritty seaside smells of London. And we're going to begin with Lewis. You've just arrived at Caligula to hear about your latest investment. You've heard word about the Necronomicon. It's interested you particularly for multiple different reasons, but it's a book which is worth millions upon millions of dollars to the right person, and having been a major investor in Caligula for a while, it's struck your fancy to arrive here today. There's a man, Eric, who's waiting here. He's perhaps 50 or so, slightly kind of grey hair and suit. For all of you, you have a recollection of having gone and lived through all of this past. So everything that you have lived through in both the real sense and the future you sense, you have experienced. So every kind of ghostly flashback, flash forward vision that you've encountered, you have a recollection of. You have a recollection of the last thing being that Steph was reading the Necronomicon when the world was dead, and now you are here. And Eric welcomes you and says, Mr. Delgado, oh, marvelous to see you. Always good to see one of our top investors with us here today, as he wipes back his oily hair and welcomes you into Caligula HQ.
Yes, Eric. Please don't fawn all over me. It's not going to make me like you anymore or give you any more money. I see it as a weakness.
Yes, of course. Come in here. We've got one of our best, Mildred. Inside Caligula offices. You are here. I'm not sure exactly how you got here, but the last thing you remember was Seth reading the Necronomicon. And Eric comes in with Louis Delgado in his normal white suit. Yes, Miss Crabapple, excellent with her cookies. Mr. Delgado, I believe you've met one another before.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Louis.
Mildred.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Do you have any of your cookies?
Why, I indeed do. There you go.
I just can't resist. Thank you.
Thank you. And the others should be here soon. And there's a knock on the door, and Seth, you are here as well. Not exactly sure how you got here, but the last thing you remember was reading the Necronomicon. And Eric opens up the door. Ah, Mr. Penhollow, welcome in, welcome in. I don't believe you've met Mr. Crabapple and Mr. Delgado, but here we are.
Yes, Eric, yes. Miss Mildred Crabapple, Louis Delgado, yes, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, Mr. Penhollow, was it?
Yes, Seth Pinhollow, book dealer. Oh, he's one of the famed cookies, I believe. I think
These
I'll.
are indeed. Please have one.
Yes, yes. Nutmeg?
I'm well. How are you, Mr. Penhollow?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm better than fine.
That's good.
Where's everyone else?
Well, it should be here in any moment now. And there's a rap on the door, and Travis, you are here. Similarly, not sure how exactly you got here, but the last thing you remember was Seth read the Necronomicon when you were the fool, the king of fools. And now you're here. Mr. Travis from the McDrew agency. Late arrival, unexpected, but I'm glad that you are here, Travis, so that you can meet the others. Mr. Penhollow, Mr. Delgado, Miss Crabapple, all esteemed agents of Caligula.
Hey. He
Cookie?
nods. Hey,
Mr. Travis?
Thank you very much. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Can't wait for the next guest. He's gonna sit back.
There's no one else is expected. That's all of us now. That's all of us. And then there is a rap on the door.
Are you sure about that, Mr. Eric? It seems someone is at the door.
Yes.
I should be able to get in here.
Crack job as always, Eric.
Well, let's open the door. We can't.
No.
And don't let them wait outside.
What is
Very
it?
rude, Eric.
Yes, and Father Carmine, you're here.
Hello, Eric.
I don't believe we've met before. Oh, Miss Father. Are you the priest that sends the soldiers? Right?
You're halfway there.
I did request Castor, but Mr. Edwards, we never heard back from you.
Where is Sloane?
I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. Father Carmine, this is a top secret meeting on a need-to-know basis. Let me find my secretary for you, and she'll put through the proper paperwork.
Oh, wait
is
now,
that
Eric.
Father Carmine outside?
We have him on
I make some
retainer.
fresh cookies.
You
Travis.
know this man?
Yeah, Travis
Well,
is
Eric,
gonna
I
get up. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Oh, sorry. Travis was going to get up, go by the door, let Father Carmine in, and then just close the door so Eric can't get out, and he's just going to lean up against the door and just prevent him from leaving.
He sweats.
Where is Sloane?
Sure, I know what you're talking about. I'm not sure I feel comfortable giving you this
Perhaps
sort
a
of
lollipop would make you
information.
feel a bit more comfortable. Oh, we're fresh out. I guess cookies will have to do.
I'm good. Thank you.
But you didn't ask you didn't answer the good father's question, Eric. I mean, we're all
Sloane's
here
been-
now.
He's been missing for years. No one knows where he is. I can't help
Well,
you. Now, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave, Father Carmine. I think it's best that we all maybe calm down a little bit here and perhaps call in some security.
Does
Let me
he
just
seem
get
like
to this telephone.
he's I roll-
Seth,
Yeah, I'm gonna just slam my ball of yarn on the telephone. I don't. Oh, look, it seems to be out of service.
Crabapple, please allow me to make a telephone call. It's quite important.
Yeah. Well, who are you going to call there, Mr. Eric?
Yeah. Yeah. What number? I could dial it for you. I wouldn't want you to stress out, Mr. Eric.
You seem like you need a seat.
No dialing involved with that phone, I imagine.
Maybe I'll just take a seat here.
It sounds
Maybe
good.
you'll stand right where you are.
Maybe
Because you're going to take
yes.
us to Sloan.
I rolled a psychology check. Did he seem to know where Sloan was? And he's just hiding it?
He seems to be lying to you about a lot of things, so it's tough to say
Okay.
if he knows exactly where
Okay.
Sloan is. He's probably making a lot of rapid-fire lies
A
right
lot
now.
of rapid fire lies. Okay, I'm like, now I have the feeling, and it's such a shame, Eric, that you're not being honest with us on a whole number of levels.
Why would I lie to you? You're all agents of Caligula.
Yes, but are you?
Yes.
But of course, this is Caligula, the headquarters we're in right now.
Well,
I'm your handler.
let me
Eric.
tell you, I would know firsthand it's not that hard to get a mole into Caligula.
I don't know. I'm quite sure I don't know what you're talking about. There's no moles here. Just trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself, maybe.
Travis is
Eric.
getting visibly annoyed, and he's gonna go above, not above, but around Eric, physically impose, and just kind of stare at him and just wait.
Seth retrieves his book from his bag, The Art of War.
This is the moment when you die. Or this is the moment when you tell us where Sloan is.
My life, I don't want to die. I don't think there's any need for that. But I know where he is. In a sense, I could show you. Follow me. It's not just upstairs.
Oh, see, was that so hard?
So we'll
Hey.
just go there now.
No, I think you should bring Sloan down to us.
That's I can't do that.
Oh, I think.
I can't.
How do you
Why
like your
can't
wee
you?
little fingers, Eric? I mean, you could die, but we didn't specify how quickly you'd die now, did we?
I suppose I could make a telephone call up to the room.
I don't think you're
the
getting near the
telephone.
Such a dangerous contraption of the modern age. Well, I remember when we had to send everything by the Pony Express. Hotel.
I don't know what you're honestly don't know what you're talking about. But I don't know. I can't just summon people to come down. He's up there. We're gonna have to go and see him. Or just wait for him
Who else
to
is
come
up
down
there?
on his own accord.
Eric?
Oh, it's alright, we can
Sorry?
get one of the helpers to get him.
Yes, we can dispatch a courier. Send them a letter.
I'll just
Go
shout
get it.
outside
Go
and
get
someone will
Sloan.
come. Yeah.
So where do they need to
You are
go?
all expected.
Who else is up there? Mr. Eric?
People who live up there. Just, quarters, staff. If you call in my secretary Janice, she'll go up there.
Okay,
Hmm.
I'll do that if everyone's agreeable to get Janice to get Sloan. Yeah.
Why don't we just have Eric take us?
I think
Mr.
that sounds
Travis.
like good plan.
Would you please hold my hands?
Right. Okay. Why?
Father
If you don't
Carmine
mind-
casts Mind Exchange with Eric.
So, remind me what that does because I never remember spells.
It just it switches our minds. So I will nat 20 whatever needs to be nat 20 so we can.
Yeah. Okay. You switch minds with Eric, who at the best of times is a weak-minded individual, a pathetic minion, nothing more. Sloane is upstairs, and Eric isn't sure what they've done with him, but he made a telephone call to a certain Martin Poole.
Mm-hmm.
Anything could be up in that room. Eric was not told. All he knows is that Sloane was up there. As soon as he got in, he made a call.
In Eric's voice, does he know that Janice is on the up and up, or is she some type of trigger for a security force? Reading his surface thoughts as he.
Also, roll me a con save. Oh, God, man. Because you're wild magic surge
yeah.
next time you cast a
yeah.
spell.
Oh yeah.
I remember the chat. Thank
I
you.
totally forgot about that. Can I nat 20 that?
Yeah,
Probably a good idea.
Swap minds with Eric.
It's the most boring thing you've ever minded of doing. Yeah, you you hold on, unable to able to hold on without passing out unconscious. Sorry, what was the question before that happened?
Janice,
Janice
is she a trigger for security, or
Janice
is she
will
just
call
a
Morris.
secretary? Okay. As Eric, I am going to call for Janice to just. Janice, could you come in here?
Yeah, you call out down a corridor, and you see a woman with like blonde hair back in a ponytail coming in. She looks quite formal, sort of wearing like a little suit type number, and steps in with her diary and pen in hand. Yes, how can I? She immediately looks and can sense the tension in this room.
Eric. Father Carmine, as Eric says, "My dear, something has happened to Castor Edwards. He's outside. Quick, come with me." And he will lead to the door, open the door, and usher her out and follow her outside, if possible.
Yeah, she goes with you. With you.
As soon as the door closes, he ends the spell, and Carmine goes over and locks the door.
Okay.
Wait, what the hell?
So you
is
switch
He's
back into your own
upstairs.
body.
what? Sloane's upstairs.
Let's go get him.
Hey.
Poole is waiting.
Oh, even more reasons to go upstairs. He cocks his gun.
Yes. Judgment is coming.
Are you ready, Mr. Delgado?
Well, he looks in his suit. Does he have his shotgun on him?
Yeah, if you carried it here the first time with you.
Oh, yes, as ready as I will ever be.
Then after you.
Now, I am not going to go first, sir. You are
Forget.
obviously the most equipped. We've faced this Morris
Aren't you
man
Mr.
before.
Poole's favorite?
In some terrible future. Not now.
Where you had a blimp.
Oh, Travis
biggest
unlocks the door and leaves.
I came back. I didn't have to come back. But I chose you. I chose all of you. And I chose this world. It wasn't easy. But I'm not going to commit suicide. I will stand in the back.
Travis is gone.
Is he going up?
He's opened the door while he was talking and just left.
Very well.
Travis is off.
Yep, going up.
And the rest of the group.
Yep.
Well, I'm slow, so I'm in the back.
Yeah, Seth will extend an arm to Mildred.
Thank you.
He's kind of not so much hanging out on Mr. Delgado's side, and now more at Mildred's since the events.
Little cookies.
Yeah.
Lewis does hang back just a second before turning the corner outside of the door, and he pulls out his wallet and he whispers into his wallet, "I've seen the future. You made a mistake. You let them all live." Folds his wallet, tucks it back into his pocket, takes out his shotgun, and follows behind.
The group of you ascend the staircase up the wooden steps towards the room, which has been indicated to be Sloane's. And there are no lights on up here, and indeed the lights don't seem to be working as you try them. And Travis is the first one up here. The rest of you, maybe 10, 15 feet behind, there is a door, and there does not appear to be any lights on inside. But the placard reads Sloane.
As soon as Father Carmine would see this, he would start, Matthew! Matthew! And he runs towards the door.
There's no response.
Father. Maybe we
As
should
you
be
draw
careful.
closer, as all of you draw
Could be a
closer, you
trap.
begin to hear something. A heartbeat.
Well, shit.
And as Father Carmine opens the door and the beating of the heart grows louder and louder, you hear a voice. Well, well, well. Just on time. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode of Call of Cthulhu Doors to Darkness. Ooh-wee! Alrighty. That flew by. In a wave of chaos and confusion and loss of sanity and magic and everything that we knew to be real is broken before us, my friends. That was episode 10 of Call of Cthulhu Doors to Darkness. I hope that you guys enjoyed the show, and thank you guys a huge amount for all those crazy donations today. Indian Wobbit, especially with that £300 donation coming in for Warhammer next game. Pagazal as well, Whitethorn, Hiena. He's Reva, guys. That's fucking crazy. And I am happy that you guys are enjoying the story that we are telling here. And we're going to head into our next game, unfortunately, which is, of course, Warhammer Beneath Dark Bowels. You have to wait until next week for more Doors to Darkness. We've got 5 episodes left, I think, 4 or 5 episodes left in the season. So we're getting close to our final leg where things are starting to get really fucking insane and crazy. So we're going to get into that next week. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to hit the follow button and join us. You guys ain't seen nothing yet. But let's go round. Did we enjoy ourselves? Of course, where can we find you guys online? Let's start with Tom, Redundant UK. What do you think, my friend?
That was one of the craziest episodes we've had. That was just... We've seen the future, and now we know what we have to do. Well, we don't know how to stop it, but if we don't stop it, that's the future. Which, I suppose, in the sense for all of us, isn't too bad. So we're kind of all right, but really everyone else is, like, kind of dead and everything. So it's pretty grim. So I can't wait for next week to carry on. I'm hoping to put a bullet between Martin Poole's eyes. That is Travis's goal. You know, it's a very simple goal, but surprisingly hard to do. Who would have thought? Myself, I'm Redundant UK. You can check me out on Twitch. I stream Monday to Friday. And I'm on Twitter, redundant_UK. And I'm normally in the chat here, chilling and everything like that, so you can always chat to me there. So yeah, have fun, and I'll see you next week.
Awesome, thank you, my friend. And how's the footy going at the moment?
It's 1-1. It's in extra time now.
All right. Good stuff. Greg, same questions for you, my friend, aside from the football.
Not as bad. Not that bad a future.
Well,
You
for
said
Travis,
that, dude.
it was all gluttony and
You're sitting in a pack of half people, half pigs and shit. I mean, it's
Hey, Travis doesn't
it's
discriminate.
not like Daytona Beach, right? Well, I'm kind of like Daytona Beach, but oh my god, dude. Okay, that's hilarious. That's my favorite thing ever. Fantastic episode. I got painted into a corner with the Father Carmine because written on his character sheet it says, if anybody hurts the sons, he will kill them. So I had to switch hearts with the Necronomicon or start murdering, and I don't want to do that. I kind of like you people. Crimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. You can see me here where it's at all the time from 1 to 4. And then my own channel on Fridays, 12 to 2 Conan, 2 to 4 Firefly, Saturdays 2 to 4 Chronos, Project Chronos, Pulp Cthulhu, Sunday 7 to 9, Pulp Cthulhu, Project Athena, here for Atomic Cthulhu on Mondays from 4:30 to 7:30, Tomes and Tentacles on Tuesday, and WebDM, Spelljammer, over on WebDM, Spelljammer with Pruitt on Tuesday evenings. That's it. I'm spent. I'm going to just think about this and think about Tom's comment for a long time, really, but
Amazing. And Lindy.
Mildred's poor hips. Her poor little old lady hips. So many children. Ow. Hurts thinking about it. But yeah, that was crazy, mind-blowing. I was like, what the fuck? This isn't just a vision. Holy shit. I said a lot of things on the mute button. Thank goodness the mute button exists. There was much sass, much cursing. But yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes. Oh man. Be glad there's a mute button. But you can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch and Twitter. Here every Wednesday for the epic awesomeness. I think Star Wars is canceled tonight, but normally there's Star Wars 3 hours from now. Tomorrow night, instead of the regular Land Between Two Rivers and WebDM's channel, I'm DMing a special one-shot, so that should be fun, hopefully. It's gonna be a little crazy, because I love crazy. That's why I play Cthulhu. Friday, on Grimjack's channel, I'll be doing the Firefly RPG, and then also, if you like Cthulhu, we're playtesting Fate of Cthulhu on Friday night on Little Red Dot's channel. So all the Cthulhu, all the fun times. Sundays, Grimjack21502's channel for, oh my gosh, this Sunday RPGN is back. So take clips and send them in, people. Me and Pruitt are so hyped. We can't wait. And then I have a little bit for the hype to wear off before, Project Athena. And then I can get all stressed out and Cthulhu hyped again. And then Tomes and Tentacles every Tuesday. With Dawn, I'm DMing Vecna Lives on the Greyhawks channel Tuesday afternoons, and then Out of the Abyss on my channel Tuesday evenings. So, I love crazy.
Awesome.
That's why I'm here.
Great stuff. And Dawn, you traitorous son bitch.
There could be more to that.
Sure.
Oh, I definitely said a lot more when I said traitors.
Oh man, it was a great episode. Just like this entire series has been great. All these characters are great. I love trying to follow the story. It's challenging in like a really fun way, and that's something that's unique to Cthulhu, and I really enjoy it every single week. You can follow me on Twitter at Donathan Fry, where I'll share stuff that I write or shows that I'm a part of. I'll give a shout out to Project Chronos on Saturdays at 2 p.m. on Greg's channel. Check out Project Chronos if you got a Saturday afternoon free. It's awesome. It's 2 to 4 p.m. More time hopping, Cthulhu awesomeness, except for our characters are definitely way more badass in that one. At least mine is. But yeah, I'll be here next week. Looking forward to it.
Thanks so much, Tom. And Pruitt.
I'll tell you what, Will, I love coming back to this game every week just to see what the hell happens. But today, I don't even fucking know, man. That was nuts. It was crazy. I love that Seth got everything that he wants. And even in the moment, I'm sitting here like, he has all this. He's never been able to really use it, probably. So it's just like a hollow victory. So it was great. I finally got to read the Necronomicon and use it. So I can check that off the box. But I can't wait to see back and see how this ends. I'd also like to. I love the moment of everybody getting back around Eric, and it's one of the few times in this game since I've played with y'all where we've had like the upper hand on a character in Call of Cthulhu, and you could see like everyone like blood in the water and just sharks surrounding this kid. It's like, and even Seth, who's a coward, is like, "Oh no, you can't use that phone." No, I don't know. I absolutely, I love the drama, the everything about this. I can't wait till next week. I'm Pruitt, one half of WebDM. We just got off of a really awesome 4-day shoot this past weekend, so new video starting today, I believe. We'll have a video out today that'll be pretty fucking epic, I think. Be back with RPGN and Lindy on Sunday, and next week I'll be back with Starward Bound, taking to the stars, riding the back of giant celestial beasts, all the fun that you can have with D&D in space. But until next week, Warhammer today, and then Saber Dice later tonight, as the marathon continues.
Goes on and on, my friends. Well, we're going to dive into Warhammer next, so join us for that. Hopefully you guys didn't lose too much sanity playing tonight's game and watching it. But until next time, my friends, try not to roll too many nat ones, because we want to be here laughing when you do. Good night, everyone.